Today, I'm going to be breaking down something really awesome, what I call my super investor cheat code. So I have a community, by the way, called Super Investors. It's where I help real estate investors scale their portfolios to actually achieving financial freedom. I'll break that down in much more detail, but high level, main thing I want you guys to understand is I'm going to give you the cheat code. I'm going to tell you exactly how I've been able to scale from zero to $22 million of real estate in less than 5 years, generate over $20,000 a month in cash flow from that portfolio, and be able to delegate the majority of the work when it comes to the operations and management, hiring an asset manager and what that progression looked like. And I'm doing all this kind of in honor of whatever. My 31st birthday is in June. So what I'm going to do over the next 30 days is really dedicate to giving you guys as much as I possibly can in 15-minute increments of the Super Investor cheat code. Obviously, if anyone feels like they're the right fit to join Super Investors afterwards, awesome. I'll see you inside. If you're not, no worries. I hope you get a ton of value out of this. People ask me these questions all the time. I'd love to be able to have these videos to present to them and say, hey, here's literally me breaking some of this stuff down with detail and small increments, right? Bite-sized chunks. And so I'm going to break down how you can scale to over $20 million of real estate, or really, who cares about the dollar amount of real estate, the number of units in real estate, how you can actually scale to financial freedom through real estate investing, right? This is primarily geared towards those who are already in the real estate space. If you're completely brand new, never done anything with real estate, not wholesaling, not lending, not even paid for any education, it's going to be a lot harder for you, right? This is the cheat code for super investing, not baby steps to learning how to invest, right? I give a lot of that stuff away for free already. So if you want the baby steps, that's already given. This is the cheat code to scaling your portfolio to actual financial freedom. So with that being said, I'm going to go through each of these. I have 6 key pillars when it comes to super investors. You can literally see inside of super investors, I have 6 key pillars, which include financial freedom, right? I think one of the most important things you need to understand truly is define what your financial freedom looks like. I also think that's so important. I give that away absolutely for free in my Wealth Through Real Estate School community, which is a free community that you can join anytime. But basically, I want you to understand your financial freedom is dependent on your expenses, right? Your financial freedom is when do you have more passive income coming in than your actual expenses, or like when does that exceed your actual expenses? When that's the case, you're financially free. You no longer have to trade time for money, right? It's this beautiful place. And then you can start pursuing all the passions of your life, things that are purpose driven, all that amazing stuff. But getting that foundation is so important. And most people never get that. They work their whole lives. They work till they're 60, 70, and they have less than they used to earn or spend to live the rest of their life with. Well, that sucks. I definitely want to have more available, not less. So financial freedom is a key pillar, understanding what that looks like, what your number looks like. But then also, if you're going the real estate route, how many properties will you need? What's a realistic time frame? All of that good stuff in there. I know a lot of people get lost because they first can't visualize the goal. They can't visualize the end result. But then also they wonder, how long is it going to take? How many houses? How much cash flow? Whatever, all these various things. And that's all defined in there for you, especially if you're focused on doing it through real estate. I even include sections for stocks. I even include sections for lending, right? But real estate, as I mentioned in some of the other videos, it's my number one favorite strategy, favorite asset to achieve financial freedom because of, above everything else, the leverage as well. It does not have to be my own money. Stocks and lending, for the most part, have to be my own money. You can raise money and lend that out, yes, but you're putting yourself at a high risk and you're putting your capital partner at a high risk unless you're really knowledgeable about the process and what you're going to do if things go wrong. But buying and holding real estate using other people's money, it's beautiful. Beautiful, highly leveraged, amazing path to achieving financial freedom in a short time frame. That's the only way I bought $20 million of real estate, $20 plus million of real estate, such a short amount of time. It would not be possible without using other people's money because I didn't have $5 million to invest in this portfolio. I had to build my reputation, raise those funds, deploy them into assets, take care of my partners, and now we continue owning these assets together. So that is the first pillar. And I give it all away for free as well in Wealth Through Real Estate. Super deal analysis. There's one thing to analyze a deal, right? A lot of people know how to underwrite a deal. They put numbers that someone gives them and puts them in a spreadsheet and says yes or no. That's like the basics deal analysis. You need to actually understand, where do those numbers come from? How do you get those? How can you feel confident in those numbers? First and foremost, how do you strategically plug and place them? Which of those numbers are the most important levers if you were to then negotiate those deals? Like, what has the largest impact to getting you the results that you want? Most people, they just think price. That's the only thing they understand. Because in the traditional world, that's really the only thing you can negotiate. Well, in the traditional world, yes, that's true. You could, at minimum, negotiate your closing costs to reduce your entry, so you're paying less to buy the property. I've done that every single time. Every time I bought a property traditionally, that has always been the case. But you can also, when it's creative, you have a lot more levers. And creative financing is my favorite strategy for that reason. I can make great deals out of what was not initially a great deal the way it was presented. So it's not just putting numbers in a spreadsheet, it's analyzing these deals extremely extensively and understanding how can you make this a better deal so you are maximizing your returns, minimizing your risk. And when you do that, you are fast tracking your path to financial freedom. Instead of having to buy 2 or 3 properties to get the same returns, you just force that into one. It's incredible. Lead generation. So how are you going to consistently generate leads? There's a variety of ways. I talk highly about the trade-off between the different acquisition strategies and the amount of time and money involved with it, and what is a better use of my time. I really talk a lot about that here because I understand people who are newer or scaling don't always know how to prioritize or how to identify what is the highest leverage use of their time. That's my job. I did that for you. I did that. Over $100,000 I paid for education, over the years of experience, over all the trial and error, over all the mentors I built significant relationships with, and learning from them, executing, not always succeeding outright, and then improving the process. That's how I've been able to kind of devise this path and share this with you guys. So I talk really extensively about lead generation and the various ways to generate deals for buy and hold that are the most effective for you. Property acquisition. This is the real blueprint. This is the thing that I think most people get stuck on. I know I want to buy real estate. I don't exactly know what the step-by-step process is, or I understand it at a high level, but I don't understand how I can maximize this piece, or I don't want to overlook this thing or whatever. This is the A to Z. If your goal is to buy and hold real estate that generates you cash flow, including the team you're going to scale, the different service providers that you're going to hire, when you need a CPA, a bookkeeper, when I brought in my fractional CFO, operations managers, all that kind of stuff, it's all laid out and they're starting from the very beginning, a lead in your business. These are deals that you potentially want to buy, leads in your business, right? Because every real estate business has only 2 inputs, the deal and money to buy the deal. Those are the only 2 inputs you need in a real estate business. Then you have to put in operations, right? Once you have the money and the deal paired, you buy the property, you need operations to ensure you're minimizing your risk and you're actually executing the plan that you said you were, and you and your partners all get paid. Otherwise, you just wasted a lot of time and effort. That's what the property acquisition blueprint is that step-by-step process, the A to Z, the 16 steps I do every single time when I'm buying a property. This one is fundamental, mastering capital raising. This one, like I said, there's no way I scale my portfolio without raising money. It's impossible. Like, you only have a finite amount of money available to you if all you're using is your own income source. And if you are making so much money, if you have millions of dollars already ready to go, you don't need to do the things that I'm teaching you. Just go buy and hold real estate using your own money, or go lend your money out, because that $5-10 million will already produce a ton of freaking returns for you. If you have a decent job, let's say 70, 80 plus $1,000 a year, you're saving a portion of that. That's great. That's amazing, right? You want to save that. That's great. But that's not going to be enough for you to be able to indefinitely continue buying properties that then fit your financial freedom timeframe. They're not going to allow you to retire in the timeline that you want, potentially. So if you're stuck on using only your own income, you're limiting your potential. You're limiting your ability to become financially free quicker. So then all this extra work that you're putting in to get more deal flow and all that good stuff means nothing if you can't actually buy these properties. Even as a rule now, I never use my money to buy real estate. I only use other people's money to buy real estate. Why? It's not that I don't have money. I'm using that money and lending it to others and doing other things with that money because I want my money to never be a bottleneck for my ability to buy and hold more real estate. I don't want my own money to be a limitation in my ability to buy and hold real estate. So I only use other people's money, and I use my money for other things. I invest it elsewhere, and I use other people's money to buy and hold real estate so that my money is never the reason why I cannot buy a great deal. That's a mindset thing you definitely need to understand. Even if you have money, why it's important. But if you have so much, millions of dollars, there's other strategies for you. You don't need to do all the hustle that a lot of us do to buy and hold real estate and be the operations person. You don't need to do that. Just go lend your money to someone else. Here, I'll take your money. I'll take your money. I'll buy and hold real estate. I'll make it really passive for you. So if you're in that situation, you got $1 million+ and you just want to invest it passively, I'm your guy. Reach out to me and let's partner on some cool deals together. And then systems and operations. This is really breaking everything down step by step, starting with your game plan, starting with defining your buy box, everything that you need from A to Z, going all the way to every single person that I use on my team, every single resource that I have. And then in all of this is also CoLiving. So people, if you want to understand the super investor cheat code, right? This is the super investor community and education. But if you want to understand the cheat code, It's really three parts. Buying creatively financed deals. Why? Because I can negotiate them, make them much better deals. It makes it much easier for me to raise capital and deploy it into these investments. I'm not only getting better deals at lower interest rates and lower down payments, and even able to negotiate more than just the purchase price, like as opposed to if I just found a new deal. It's all those benefits. And because the lower interest rate, I'm paying down my debts faster. Because it's a lower interest rate, I'm paying less monthly on the mortgage. So I'm getting more cash flow. Everything is better because of it. Absolutely. Not every deal only makes sense. Creative finance. There's plenty of traditional deals you can buy, but there's a lot more opportunity available to you if you understand how to buy creatively financed deals. I'm not saying you need to go understand how to talk to sellers and agents and convince them to do seller financing and all that. I'm not telling you to go be a wholesaler. I'm telling you to learn the process of buying creatively financed deals and mastering the analysis so you can make them the best deals possible. So first part of the cheat code, buying creatively financed deals, understanding that process, understanding the analysis, understanding the renegotiations of it. Next is capital raising. Once again, I cannot buy millions and millions of dollars of real estate without money, right? So I needed to raise actually I've raised closer to $10 million. I've deployed around $5 million is what I have out to build my portfolio. So mastering capital raising is the next key pillar of the super investor cheat code. And then the third one is co-living. So not only are you structuring the best deals because of creative financing, you're buying them using none of your own money, but now you are maximizing your returns massively. You're able to maximize your returns because now you're getting, instead of a couple $100s a month of cash flow, you're getting thousands of dollars a month of cash flow. Instead of, like, for every $100-$200 you can get in a long-term rental, you can get 1,000 plus in co-living. My average is between 1,500 to 2,000. That's really on average where most people are with their co-living when you're buying 6+ bedroom co-living properties. And now you're not buying properties that are 6 bedrooms outright. You're usually building towards that. And I explain that very simply. There's just a very effective way to do that as opposed to doing a full gut rehab like a lot of people do. They put in way more work for less results. So it's like, I don't even know why you do that. It's just inefficient. But co-living allows you to get more cash flow, allows you to buy better properties in better locations because they cash flow more, and because co-living properties do better in those markets. And because we're doing co-living, you're also able to raise money more effectively than you would if it was a regular rental. If there's $200 a spread on a long-term rental and you're trying to raise money to buy that deal, you're gonna have a hard time raising money. It's like, what's even the point for that person? But when you're going the co-living model, where you're generating more cash flow, so you and your partners get more returns, there are bigger, better, more beautiful properties in better locations. You get better ownership benefits. And people are loving the co-living model. I'm thankful I got in a couple of years ago because now I pretty much have a massive head start on the majority of people now hopping into the space and they're gurus and this and that, whatever. That's cool. That doesn't mean anything unless you're actually owning these assets. It doesn't matter what you brand yourself. But because of that ability, you also get to lend. People are lending money to you. Also want to learn the process from you so they can do the same thing. So you're able to raise money through better returns, better ownership benefits, and the education piece that you provide, which makes raising capital so much easier. It's another massive value. We just had a call with my mentor, Pace, on Sunday, and he talked a lot about this. This is how my entire capital raising has essentially been built over the years. I learn, and then I give value, and then I give value, and then I give value. I provide value to other people. So when it's time to ask for something, raising money, for example, then it's an obvious yes for a lot of people. And that's the same thing. You can do that in real time with the co-living model because people want to learn from you as someone who's ahead of them in the area that they're trying to learn more of. So that is going to be the crux of what I'll talk about for roughly the next 30 days throughout the month of June. For anyone who's still hanging around, I'm also going to do 4 webinars. If you're familiar with the ones I did in November, similar but way better. Financial freedom. Obviously, I think it's so important. I want to break that down in detail with slides and all that stuff for you. For people who know how I educate, I do a lot of slides. I'm sorry. I talk a lot and I talk about a lot of concepts. I want you to take the most important things from it. I don't want you to miss out on the key pieces of information. So I do it over slides so you can document that stuff for any of my note takers out there. So financial freedom, mastering super deal analysis, how to consistently generate deals and raise capital for those deals, and the super investor cheat code broken down just like I explained, but in much more detail. Once again, if I can give you one thing to take away, the reason why I've been able to scale my portfolio and achieve all the results that I've wanted to, obviously you got to take consistent action. I'm assuming you're an action taker. You're not sitting here listening to a live, watching a video because you're not willing to take action. You just don't know. You're just spinning your wheels, potentially doing things that are not in alignment with what you want to accomplish, which I get it. It's hard because there's tons of marketing dollars being thrown at you all the freaking time, all day, every day, convincing you should do one thing or another. There's one thing, the super investor cheat code, creatively finance deals, raising money for those deals, and then the co-living model, right? Creative finance, capital raising, co-living. That's the 3 C's. It's a super investor cheat code.